Well, Sunday, and welcome to the 35th edition of the Global Weather and Climate Report, the first edition of April, of course. And before we get into the video, please like, share, and subscribe. And do indeed check out marthaquinweather.com for all the latest content. I do have available now the April Outlook, so have a look at that, check it out, and let me know in the comments section below what you think of that. But so edition 35, and we are looking back at the month of March. It has been a fairly warm month across the planet. Indeed, we'll look at that in just a second. But this is temperature anomaly profile here, planetary wise, and you can see here a lot of warmth. Northern Africa, much of Europe, warmer than average. Much of Eurasia actually warmer than average, as you can see here. Australia warmer than average for the whole apart from the north. India was cooler than average. Equatorial Africa, southwestern China, but of course dwarfed by a sea of warmth around the rest of China and the rest of much of Asia actually. Below average across the northern plains, western United States, of course, seeing tremendous amounts of snow continuing here, record breaking snow at that. We'll look next week probably at some of the records falling because we still have snow falling within the Sierra Nevada at the moment here, so we continue to see them totals mount up, not just for the last 7 to 10 days, but also across the entire winter period. So we'll look at that, and we'll look at what probably will be final numbers by the time we reach next Sunday, of course. So we'll kind of skip on that one today, and we'll have a little bit more focus on that next week. A lot of warmth stacked up across the Arctic region, of course. The European side of the Arctic, notice here, it's below average, but yet the North American side above average. Of course, we've had quite a lot of high latitude blocking this region, and that has led to a colder than average Northern Europe versus a warmer than average Southern Europe here. So this is, of course, the first couple of days of April. Cool across the eastern side of the UK, warmer in the west, as you can see here, thanks to winds coming in from an easterly direction. You tend to have quite a contrast actually between the east coast and the west coast, where you can have 16, 17 in the northwest, 6 to 8 Celsius in the east. Of course, the water temperatures are at their coolest levels the entire year for the North Sea and across surrounding waters. Also, still cold across Scandinavia, as you can see here. But if we look back at the month of March, you can see here how the northern half of Europe has been cold on average. Iceland, very cold compared to average. In fact, one of the coldest anomalies anywhere on the planet for the month of March. You can see northern Britain cold on average, southern Britain warmer than average, and slightly below average overall for the British Isles. It's been very warm across the southwestern portions of Europe. Also, little quick look at the El Nino situation here. This is a tweet by Ben Knoll, and you can see here sea surface temperatures in the eastern equatorial Pacific near Peru and Ecuador are 4 to 5 Celsius above average. This is the most unusually warm conditions since the El Nino of 2017, which is quite interesting. Widespread marine heat waves conditions stippled will cause impacts across western South America here. So of course we're seeing the turnaround now from the triple La Nina. We're now starting to see the onset of an El Nino, and that is for sure likely to increase water vapor within the atmosphere around the world and increase temperature as a consequence of that release of water vapor into the atmosphere. So this is an interesting tweet here by Maximiliano Herrera, extreme temperatures around the world. March 2023, according to preliminary JRA 55 figures, could top March 2019 and become the second warmest March after 2016. It's not the warmest on record, but it is the second or third warmest. Asia has been exceptionally warm. Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, within a 5 plus 5 Celsius above the 91 2020 average. Iceland, like I mentioned there, is most below average country on the planet for the month of March, which is quite interesting. Anomaly of minus 3.7 Celsius, which is quite interesting actually. Um, so we'll kind of look through these threads as per usual, looking at the extremes around the planet for the last few days here. Mind-boggling heat. All time March records are falling in many portions of Asia, and of course that does lead to the questions, the speculation about what the cause is. Of course, so mind-blowing warmth in Central Asia for all of March. Yesterday temperatures again 33 Celsius in Turkmenistan, 30 in Kazakhstan. Of course, bear in mind that March can still be a very cold period indeed. So very exceptional warmth. This is for North Korea, South Korea, and Japan. We're seeing temperatures into the mid-20s. Highly unusual for the time of the year, of course. 81 stations. So this is back to the 31st of March. Crazy day. Today, this is a tweet by Jim Yang. 81 stations broke the March record. Nearly half of the stations in a place that I'm not going to pronounce broke the record. And Yangstan, that same place, was the highest in northeastern China at 27.8 Celsius. 27.8 Celsius in northeast China is brutal. Bear in mind, folks, that this is close to the Siberian border. So that's quite remarkable stuff. Looking at more insane heat across parts of Siberia, Far East Russia, dozens of heat records beaten with huge margins. Most important, 22 Celsius in some places. Endless heat wave in parts of Thailand, of course. This is the 31st of March still today, with rare, hot, dry winds. The humid coastal resort of Krabi rose to a record high of 39.6 Celsius. Southwestern Thailand, only Trang has ever recorded higher temperatures than this. And of course, I did visit Thailand myself, Bangkok, and then went down to Phuket. And some of the humidity levels is just remarkable stuff. Of course, one of the most stifling places on the planet in terms of heat and humidity combination. So amazing warmth, like I said, across parts of the Canary Islands. Also extend all the way down into Cape Verde as well. So we had temperatures as high as 36.8 Celsius in the Canaries. We've had even the Balearics, so Majorca and Ibiza, 29.8 degrees Celsius. Andalusia and the south of Spain on the Costa del Sol, 32.6 Celsius. Murcia, 32.8. Valencia, 32. And Catalonia, 30.8 Celsius. So, summer-like heat in parts of eastern and southern Spain, as well as the Canary Islands. Big contrast, of course, across the United States. Tornadoes has been, a remarkable situation at the moment. High death toll. We've got incredible damage. EF4 tornadoes as well. And actually, I've not brought that up, and I apologise for that, because that is probably the story of the weekend, actually. As well as heat across many portions of the world. So a lot of these anomalies here, 1 to 2 Celsius above average in many parts of the world for the month of March, of course. Again, Central Asia heat, northern Uzbekistan, a latitude of 42 point north, 33 degrees Celsius. So remarkable stuff. Even up north of Yakutia, Pole of Coal Oymyakon also had its little March record. So plus 3.8 Celsius in Oymyakon, which of course is exceptionally cold, exceptional warmth, for this far north in this region of the world. South Pole seeing temperatures into the mid minus 50s or low minus 50s, of course, here. So, again, going on about the amount of heat across parts of the Asian subcontinent. The month of March 2023, Canada had a temperature anomaly of plus 0.14 Celsius above average, but was way extreme with extreme cold in the prairies, which was amazing actually, because Winnipeg never rose above the freezing mark the entire month of March, and the warmest March on records at Alert in Nunavut. So while we had some parts of northern portions of Canada exceptionally mild underneath that high latitude blocking, we've seen the prairies where places did not receive a single day above the freezing mark, which is pretty remarkable stuff. So hot winds have been battering the Canary Islands, also blew further south, east to west, towards the archipelago of Cape Verde and Cabo Verde. 3 days ago, Praia rose to 35.4 Celsius, just 0.3 Celsius from the Cape Verdean March heat record, which was set at 35.7 Celsius. So near all-time March records as far south as the Cape Verde Islands, which is quite interesting actually here. So I know I'm kind of skipping through this, and I do apologise for that. Let's go to our good friend Thierry Goose, based in Vancouver, Canada, and some impressive rainfall stats in the western portion of Canada, of course, where we've seen tremendous amounts of moisture coming in. There's that temperature there. So with an monthly absolute record temperature of minus 0.8 Celsius, so that's the highest temperature during the month of March, which was recorded back on the 10th and the 24th of the month here. Hasn't had a temperature above zero during the entire month of March for only the second time since records began in 1872. So yeah, that's very, very impressive stuff indeed, really, when you think about that, isn't it? And then again, a lot about the heat records going on across many portions of the world. Let's have a look actually at the tornado situation across the United States here, and I'm kind of talking about it as I'm recording. I've not really had enough time to look at this properly, and I do apologize for that. We will have a look at that in the next wee while. That's an amazing sight there. This is what a tornado looks like. That was recorded on TikTok, I believe. A cropped video of the Iowa tornado yesterday. So this is 23 hours ago. Incredible scenes, as you can see here, of these massive twisters. The combination of very warm, humid air coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, cold, dry air coming in from the north, and of course we've got weather systems coming into the California coastline, bringing heavy rainfall at low levels, heavy snowfall at high levels. As that energy runs across the Rocky Mountains, then it starts to suck that air out of the Gulf of Mexico, drags cold air out of the prairies, where of course we've talked about that, and of course you've got these really, really problematic weather situations here. This is not uncommon at this time of the year. This is right in the heart of the worst time of the year for tornadoes, and this is, I believe, the second weekend in a row. This is a tweet here by Nahel, and you can see here just awful before and after images of the catastrophic damage to a neighborhood in Little Rock, Arkansas from yesterday's violent tornado. Survey is out ongoing here. So look at the difference. Look at the difference here between the two images here. Just entire neighborhoods, communities wiped off the map with these brutal tornadoes. So very, very sad situation indeed here in parts of the southeastern United States due to the tornado situation. So yeah, our thoughts, of course, and prayers are with those affected by that situation here. Looking at the a tweet by Jason Nichols here of AccuWeather. Worrisome signs for this summer monsoon in India. Traditionally, La Nina to El Nino flip is a bad sign for monsoons, cool waters in the Arabian Sea and off northwest Australia. This past boreal winter also a sign for weaker monsoons here. So this is the projection here of I don't know what source this is here, but it might have been actually off the Indian meteorological department here. But you can see this is the situation in the waters here between December and February here. So a cold Indian Ocean, cold central and eastern equatorial Pacific, of course, and that is usually a sign that we don't have as big of a monsoon season for India and Pakistan. So unfortunately, that is not a good sign for those in this region of the world here. And of course, El Nino looks as if it's going to be reasonably strong.